going to present the rest of the slides. So, for worker education, the employer must ensure that the general WIMIS education is provided to each worker on the following aspects, because these are one of the important things that are need to be taken care of. First of all is the major hazards of control products in use at the workplace. As the line suggests, that if the worker working with major hazardous substances of control products is not educated in his or her field of work, then it can cause a major damage, not just to the property or to the factory or to the workplace of work, but even to human beings that are working there, to the workers as well. Rights and responsibilities, of course, if the person is not aware of what rights they possess, then they can be subjected to unfair treatment, which is not good. As well as responsibilities, if you know what rights you possess, you should also know that you are responsible for whatever you do, and you need to take responsibility for it, even though if you're not aware of it. So it is better to be aware of your responsibilities rather than just being unaware and then get subjected to. Content required on labels and MSGS, and the significance of this important. Labels and content on labels, that what it possesses is very important, because if the thing inside, of course, if we are talking about women's, then it means that it is about something that is very important. And if the content of that substance in question is not labeled properly, then it can lead to hazardous problems. So it is very important to have the education on the same and elements of the women's program. Next, please. Worker training. So, after knowing about the rules and regulations, responsibilities, and rights, an employer must ensure that the worker working there is trained appropriately. First, on specific procedures, because of course, if the procedures that they are performing, they are not well trained in that, then it might lead to very severe consequences, which everybody wants to avoid for their own good as well as for the company's good. So, for specific procedures, it includes the use of uh, proper safety tools, storage, handling, and disposal of control product to follow in case of an escape of a control product. So, yes, human error is one of the things that is not controlled by anyone. No matter how conscious you are, there is a chance of mistake. So, if the control product is escaped by mistake, by human error, then what to do? How to take steps to prevent more damage from occurring, to follow in an emergency involving a control product, just as I mentioned before. If the control product is causing a lot of damage, then to know that what to do after you have the product in control, but about the emergency that it has caused. Safe use, storage, handling, and disposal of a control product in transit. Now, if the product is for example transferred from is being transferred from one place to another by road or by any means in a transit, then how to handle it, how to pack it, how to safely transport it from one place to another without it getting escaped or leaked or whatever. So that is how a worker should be trained in using, packing, and transporting a controlled product. Next, please.
Yeah. So Wim's hazard symbol. So Wim's hazard symbols are essential tool for ensuring workplace safety in Canada. These symbols are very vital for understanding the worker safety. So WHMIS means Workplace Hazardous Materials Information System. So it is designed to protect workers by providing information like through labels or safety data sheets and symbols. So we can identify the risk associated with the hazardous substances. So these are the symbols like exploding bomb, flame over circles, gas cylinders, corrosion, skull and crossbones, health hazards, environment, and biohazardous infections materials. So the main thing about these symbols, it is always displays in red diamond shaped border because it is what it is like. We can only present it's like this. And shape and designs are very vital. If it's in a square, then it is not following the national standard of Canada. So that's why shape is very important. Next, please. Compressed gas. So this is the one of the symbols. It's showing gases under pressure. So it includes storage at high pressure, like whatever gas it is, like oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen. So it can be include liquefied gas as well, like propane, butane. We can give example of gas cylinders, or anything which can results in the major blast. So it can be explored. It also showing fire hazards or frostbite burns. So it is easy for workers to identify the gas hazard. Next. McElhinney.
The fire hazard. So, the flammable substances are material capable of catching fire under specific conditions. These includes flammable gases, flammable aerosol, flammable liquids, flammable solids. Likewise, self-heating substances and mixtures which in contact with water and flammable gas, and also self-reactive substances and mixtures, and also the organic peroxide. So, the oxidizing hazards, certain products can cause or contribute to the combustion of other materials, making them critical to handle with care. So, these include oxidizing gases such as category 1 and oxidizing liquids category 1, 2, and also 3. And these substances don't burn themselves but can release oxygen or other oxidizing agent, intensifying fires or enabling the combustion of other material. Proper classification and storage are essential to minimize risk and ensure safety in handling this material.
Acute
Smita, please.
toxicity. Acute toxicity. Acute toxicity refers to the harmful effects that occur after a short-term exposure to a substance, typically within 24 hours of a single or brief dose. So it is a key concept in toxicology and chemical safety used to evaluate how dangerous a substance can be when ingested, inhaled, or comes into contact with the skin. So the acute toxicity is commonly assessed using the LD50 or LC50. The routes of exposure. Acute toxicity can occur through ingestion, that is oral activity, or dermal, through the contact with the skin, or inhalation through respiratory tract. The JHS globally harmonized system classifies acute toxicity into categories, with category 1 being the most toxic and category 5 the least toxic. The classification depends on the LD50, that is lethal dose, and the lethal concentration values, and also the route of exposure. So the category 1 is an extremely toxic and category 5 is practically non-toxic. So examples of highly acute toxicity are cyanide, arsenic, and carbon monoxide, and with low acute toxicity examples being table salt and baking soda. Acute toxicity category 1 examples are certain pesticides or cyanides with being less than 5 mg per kg. And then the category 2 is LD50 between 5 to 50 mg per kg. Examples some rat poisons. Category 2, 3 are moderately toxic if ingested. They are between the LD50 is between 50 to 300 mg per kg. These are nicotine or certain medications. So the precautions for handling the acute toxicity is they need to be labeled for or instructed in material safety data sheets, and to use appropriate personal protective equipment such as gloves, masks, or respirators, and to store these toxic substances safely away from incompatible chemicals and in secure containers. So, this classification ensures clear communication of risks associated with chemical exposure and helps in implementing safety measures to protect health and life. Thank you.